Hello YouTube viewers and subscribers. We're going to talk about my little tank here, and I'm going to do a review on Spike's corals. Here's a disclaimer first. Yes, there's a couple small tangs in this tank. I realize it's a small tank for tanks in the long run. And what this was my 28 gallon. When I started my 105 up, I wanted to make this a quarantine tank. I took the sand out, took rocks out. I just had a sponge filter, no skimmer. And I purchased one Coley tang. He didn't do well. My water parameters were fine, quote unquote. Purchased another one, he didn't do too well. And I think I lost 2 blue tangs as well. And there was only one fish at a time during this quarantine period. I was treating with copper, and I'm not going to use this stuff again. Well, obviously because I have corals and you can't put the copper in there now, but as far as a quarantine tank is concerned, because you don't want to undertreat, but you don't want to overtreat because you'll kill your fish in a very horrific death. But like the testing kits for those, they're very subjective. You basically, add some drops, look at the color, and try to interpret where you're at on the spectrum. I'm partially colorblind as it is. I have issues with shading. It'd be different if a color was light green versus purple or something like that, or some of those titration tests, where you get a rapid color change, and that's where you're at. So in any event, I didn't take down the quarantine tank, but ran carbon, and I just kind of set this mushroom tank up. I added live sand, added live rock, and so here are my mushrooms. But in any event, let me talk about the fish one more time. So I bought the blue tang and had him in for probably about 3 weeks, and then I purchased the Coley tang, and he's probably been there for about a month. I haven't seen any manifestations of ick. I'm going to watch him probably for a good 8 weeks approximately. And a quarantine tank obviously is more ideal, that it goes to the ground or whatnot, forms eggs, all that kind of stuff, and they do their whole life cycle. But my fish have been fine. They've been eating their buddies. And I'm just going to probably keep them in for 8 weeks. If I see no manifestations of ick, I'll throw them in my other tank. And I'm a little bit somewhat skeptical on some of the quarantine tanks, because I've known people, I've watched videos where they keep a fish in quarantine for a good 8 weeks. They treat with they do all this stuff, and then they introduce it to our other tank, and they get stressed and they get ick. So I'll wait a couple more weeks. I'll throw in my other tank, and hopefully all my other fish are fine. And if everyone dies, then I give up on tanks forever. All right, so let's talk about the tank here. You might have seen some of my other videos. It's a 28 gallon nano cube. I have a skimmer on it, live sand bed. I have the Ricordias in here. I have like very little flow. I don't have any power heads in here. I just have the return pump. I run a little hang in the back skimmer, and in my little overflow I use like polyfiber filter floss, and everything's doing well. So I've been dealing with Spike's corals online. I've got some of these mushrooms. I'm really impressed with them. I'm really impressed with the merchandise I've received from them. So we're just going to go here and look. As you can see, greenish mushrooms. I can't recall how much I spent on these, but I think the most expensive I've paid for a mushroom is maybe about 25 bucks. And it was multi-head. So I have these green ones here. Sorry about the shaky camera. This nice orange one, he's doing really well. These mushrooms would probably be in the tank for about 2 months. This tricolor one, 3 heads, he's fluffing out really well. And the bluish, purplish ones, these kind of orange ones, green ones. That is what looks like an anemone. It's a St. Thomas mushroom. I didn't purchase that. They gave it to me as a free coral. And the website spikescorals.com, they had free shipping on, I don't know if it was $250 or $225 or something like that, but you know, a lot of the online stores, if you spend X amount, they'll send, you know, your stuff, they'll ship it for free. Well, they threw this coral in for free. I don't know if that's their normal practice, but I appreciate it. And yeah, this guy really, it's kind of crazy how big these things expand and shrink, but he's pretty cool. These green mushrooms, that little rock was in my other tank, and they were alive. They weren't really multiplying or anything like that. It's brighter light, higher flow. I put them in this tank, and you know, the lighting is bright on this tank. I think it's the low flow that these things really thrive on. They've multiplied like crazy, which is cool. Back there, I just threw in, it's a Ricordia rock with these like orange, not Ricordia, Rhodactis. There's maybe 4 or 5 in there. It was doing well initially in my other tank, but they've shriveled up, I think, because of the high flow. Now they're expanding nice, so that's cool. These mushrooms, I got them from some other place. I'll do a review on them later. Not good. So, here we go again. I haven't ordered anything else from this website at all. Spikescorals.com. But their mushrooms are fabulous. Awesome. They were packed really well. They were labeled, which is something I appreciate. Well, I mean, you know, all these were going in the same tank, and while it's an orange mushroom, it's a purple mushroom, but you know, it's like if you're ordering zoanthids from other places, you're like, oh, what is this one? You know, if it's not labeled. But so on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give them a 5 definitely. I like them. They shipped everything well. Everything appeared great. The prices were good, and that is really it. My review on Spikes Corals. Zoom out on my tank again. Tank police. I'm sorry. Well, no, I'm not. And that's really about it. Thanks for watching. Rate, subscribe. You know the deal.